More on the lingering war setting world leaders and on diplomatic pressure. I'm now being joined by a senior fellow of the Potomac Foundation, New York City, in the United States of America, Dennis Kirak. Thank you so much for joining us on World Now. First and foremost, General Milley mentioned that the Ukrainian counteroffensive is a difficult and violent fight that will come at a high cost. Can you provide some insight into the challenges Ukrainian forces are facing and the potential cost they might incur?
I'm so sorry, but I'm having trouble hearing you. There is some problem with connection.
Right, I was asking whether you can.
Please? Yeah.
Should I take the question again?
Yes, please.
Yes, I was asking whether you can provide some insight into the challenges Ukrainian forces are facing and the potential costs for the potential cost they might incur.
Well, if we're talking about the counteroffensive, I think over the last few days there were a lot of assessments of international analysts that this is what is happening now is a preparatory phase, and that in this preparatory phase, Ukraine is doing quite well. So, of course, Russians are putting fierce resistance, and no one was expecting that it's going to be an easy undertaking. But because simply, if Russia loses this battle, it can lead to a chain of events that will definitely that Russia loses the war. So. A lot is at stake for Putin, and he's doing what he's doing. But today's actions, shooting missiles when African leaders are in Kyiv, are personally for me are just outrageous. It's I don't know, shows completely for what Russia is and for what Putin is. So, I'm not sure that the suggestions and the proposed plan by African leaders make sense after today's attack. I'm sorry for that.
Right. But then with Chechen, the fighters reportedly deploying to the Belgorod region to prevent attacks from pro-Ukraine Russian partisan groups. How might this development impact the dynamics of the conflict and looking at the potential implications for Ukraine's counteroffensive?
Well, it's hard to predict military tactics of various parties if you don't know the actual, situation on the battlefront. So any analyst that is going out there and saying that he knows how things will unfold is just simply, an overstatement, because all the information is only from open sources, and the military campaigns are everything but about the open sources information. So we'll see. I mean, the battlefront is quite large, so there might be different unexpected situations happening not in favor of Russia. I think everyone's seen by now that Russia is not able to perform in offensive operations. In defensive operations, they've also performed not that well. In Kharkiv and Kherson, that promotes, some sense of optimism for the West and Ukraine. But again, it's not going to be an easy undertaking. Of course, it's war. It's just a lot of human suffering.
Yeah. So looking at what Secretary Austin said, he mentioned that the war in Ukraine is a marathon, not a sprint. Could you elaborate on what he meant by this statement?
Well, I think the meaning is quite simple, is that no one should expect, breakthrough results immediately. That was kind of understandable from the very beginning, especially now it doesn't look like Russia will give up really easy, but for Ukraine and for the West, there is no way back, because if Russia wins, it's a collapse of the whole European security framework. And, Eastern European countries are quite afraid that they will be next.
So very quickly before I let you go, as the Ukrainian counteroffensive is still in its early stages, could you help us provide an overview of the potential decisive battles that lie ahead, looking at exactly what factors will determine the success or failure of Ukraine's campaign to retake territory from Russia?
Sure. So, as I've already mentioned, the front is quite large, so it's hard to predict on which directions actually, the offensive will take place. However, it's not that hard if you look on the map of Ukraine to understand that the key priority is taking the Crimea back, and we kind of Ukraine already announced it that would be the key priority is liberating all territories. So it's hard to predict the order of events, and again, only the general staff of Ukraine knows what is going to be, how it's going to unfold. But the push will be massive for sure. Ukraine has been preparing for this for around a year now. Of course, Russia has been preparing as well. But hopefully, with the quality of Western equipment and training, Ukraine and with how Ukraine has been able to perform before this, quite big creativity and ingenuity of our troops.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
Right.
Those are the decisive factors.
Right. Because of our time, that's actually a convenient point to, put this interview. A senior fellow of the Potomac Foundation, New York City, in the United States of America, Denis Girak. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.